Today, we're on decision making, and there's a lot of things that go into making decisions, good and bad. As leaders, we make decisions daily, and those decisions impact others. Welcome, everybody, to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. I'm your host, John Espinosa. I really appreciate you all spending time with me today. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please click on that subscribe button, click on the like button, share this out with as many friends as you possibly can. It helps us ultimately meet our mission of getting others to where they're going. Today, we're on decision making, and there's a lot of things that go into making decisions, good and bad. As leaders, we make decisions daily, and those decisions impact others. So there's a lot of responsibility that go along with decision making, and that can be scary. That can be intimidating. That could even get to a point where it is so daunting that we don't make a decision. And ultimately, the not making a decision sometimes hurts others more than if we make a bad or a wrong decision. So today, I want to walk us through owning your decision. Just to start us off with, I don't know about you all, but one of the decisions that come about pretty frequently in my personal life, where are we going to go eat? And many of you are probably out there chuckling right now because that is a conversation around a particular food, or it may be lunch versus dinner, time of day may dictate where you go eat. But for us, it's a very common question. It's a decision that we make. You'd think we'd be pretty routine on that, but it turns out that decision can be good and can be bad. Normally it goes like this. Hey Jen, where do you want to go eat today? Well, I don't know. What sounds good? Well, I was thinking maybe this, or maybe a genre of food like Italian or Mexican or Thai. Okay, well, what are you feeling? Well, I don't know. Have you guys been there? Has everyone at least had that conversation on one side or the other? I'm not saying male, female. I'm talking about just having a conversation with somebody else. It could be a best friend, it could be a significant other or a spouse, but the time-old question, where do you want to eat? The point is, make a decision and then own that decision. If you make a decision that you're going to go eat at a new place that you've never tried it out before, you walk in, you kind of get that funny feeling, you sit down, you go through it anyways, it could be the best meal that you have ever had. Then I've made the decision, I walk in, very fancy place, looks great, not so well. But the point is, I made a decision and then owned that decision. Good or bad. Good food, good service, bad service, whatever it may be. As leaders, we need to own our decisions. So let's talk through this, because a lot of factors go into decision making. We've been talking about a lot of those factors. One of those that prevent people that I've talked to, prevent most leaders from making a decision, is not having all the information, not being 100%. And for me, there are very few decisions that I get to make on a daily basis that I have 100% of the information. It's just not there. It's not available. Maybe we can't forecast that far in advance. Maybe we're not gathering the information that we need right now to make an informed decision. So what do? We do a best guess. We take the information that we have with 60%, 70% confidence, and we go and we make a decision. Back to my food analogy, it may be a new place. I may have read the reviews, the ratings. It may even been a recommendation from a good friend of mine who I know is a foodie. It still may not work out, but I don't have all the information. I haven't been there. I haven't had any of the food, the service. I haven't experienced that, but I'm going on that 60 to 70%. I'm making a decision, and that's what we're going to go do. And that's the first step. You have to commit yourself to making decisions that you don't have 100% of the information. And if you have 100%, great, good. Make an informed decision and then go with it. And whatever the results are, at least they probably will be more favorable if you have 100%. However, it could still go, it's a coin flip sometimes. It could go good and bad. So the first part is make a decision even though you don't have all the information. Second part of owning our decision, who do we get the information from? Are we trusting senior leaders in the organization? Are we working with our peers, our team in the organization? Or are we getting our information to make the decision from those closest to the information? And you all have heard me talk about this. Those that are gathering the information analyzing the information, however they are working or manipulating that information, I want to talk to them. I want to talk to that person, that team, whoever is getting the source of the information. That's who I want around my table. As a leader, it's not the leader of that person, and not that I don't trust other people, because sometimes that's what we have to do, is we get around the table as leaders. We don't necessarily have that person that is at the source or closest to the information, and we have to make a decision. I'm not saying this is a perfect scenario, but if I am going to make a decision and own that decision, and 60 to 70% of the information I have and the other 30 to 40 I don't, I want the people around me, I want to hear from them that are closest to that information. I feel as if I own it. If I at least have those individuals advising me of my decision, I have more confidence in the decision that I make, and mentally I commit and I make a decision. Just how I am as a leader. So that's the second thing. First thing, we may not have all the information. If I don't have all the information, I definitely want those closest to the information advising me. I bounce some ideas off of some what-if scenarios, go through your 5 whys, whatever your decision-making process is. I think that's another point, is work through your decision-making process. We're all different. Some people feed off the data. Some people sit around a room and we'll have a conversation and they know what the decision is and they go with it. Some people are from the gut, intuition. They've been there, done that. They have a lot of experience and they're going to go with maybe the things that they've experienced in the past from a similar situation or a like situation. Some people who are new to leadership, those new leaders, you need to develop your decision-making process. However that may look, however that may be, over time, you're going to figure that out. You're going to figure out how you like to ingest the information, what information you like to have, who you trust, who are your go-tos, where do you get the information. But whatever that process is, figure it out. Figure that decision-making process out as a leader, because the third thing you are going to do in order to own a decision, you got to make it. You have to make a decision. Going back to how we kicked off this podcast, some people who don't make a decision or are frozen in their decision-making process or prolong that decision-making process, a lot of times it is adding more harm, or we're just delaying the inevitable. A decision needs to be made, good or bad. And when you put people in limbo, anxiety goes up. Stress goes up. What is he thinking? How is he going to react? What are we going to do? What direction are we going? I imagine that all of you have been there, waiting on a decision to be made. Put yourself in that place. Whenever you are delaying a decision, put yourself in other people's shoes and imagine what that feels like for them. As a leader, it's very daunting. It's a stressful situation, but at least you have the know of when the decision is going to be made, because you're the one that's going to make it. The people on the other side who are informing you or waiting for the decision, they don't know if you're going to make it today. They don't know if you're going to make it tomorrow. Not all decisions are created equal. However, give them an idea of when you're going to make a decision, or when you're going to look over the information and come back with questions, or maybe get a little bit more information from the group. Whatever that looks like, it's really good to keep them informed, because once you make a decision, the last piece of this whole puzzle is accepting that decision. That's the ownership part. If it's a bad decision, how do you react? What do you do as a leader if you make a bad decision? In my previous experience, I apologize. Hey, that wasn't the right decision. We thought we had all the information we needed to. Maybe it was a budget. Maybe things increased in cost. We didn't have all the resources. We didn't break down an important part of the project. We didn't plan for something, and the wrong decision was made. I got that. That's my bad. As the leader, that falls on you. Even if somebody else makes that decision, even if you say, okay, team, let's do a vote, and you got people voting and you make your decision that way, guess who the decision's still on? The responsibility of the decision is on the leader. You take ownership of that. I take ownership of the decisions that come out of my team, whether good or bad. So the bad ones, we apologize, we figure out where we went wrong, and then we're on the path again, either to making another decision or correcting the bad decision. If it was a good decision, we praise. We praise the team. We thank the people who gave us the information or the insight to make that decision. As leaders, I give them the credit and we move on. Decision was made. I own the decision. good or bad. I praise if the decision benefited us, if it saved the company money, if it prevented us from going down the bad road, the wrong road. Thank you, team. Thank you, whoever, for helping, advising me of, giving me the information, the critical information that I needed to make that decision. This is how it helped. I always provide that feedback. And then if it's a bad decision, you as the leader own that decision, apologize, figure out where we went wrong, and then let's move on down the road, correcting or making another decision. If there's one thing that's consistent about leadership, you, the leader, need to make the decision. And when you make that decision, you got to own it. You just have to own it, good or bad. And I'm not even going to go as far to say it gets any easier. As you grow in your leadership, you're normally going to be making bigger decisions. And those decisions, as they escalate up, they're going to have a bigger impact, good or bad. But that's why we got into leadership. We got into leadership, trust our people, figure out what feels right, make your decision, and then own it. I hope everybody goes out and owns your decisions. Go be great. We'll talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps us get others to where they're going.